What is good? What is good? What is good? What's up, squad? Thank you for tuning in. You are listening to the smooth sounds of WGLE, Sonic Boom. And I am your host, Magnum. This is the Vibez Lounge podcast. Make sure on your way in the door you like, share, and subscribe. Show your love. Leave a comment in the chat. Let me know where you're from, age, location, and we're gonna get into it tonight. Before I do that, shout out to Womb and Wisdom for subbing to the channel. Shout out to Maya for subbing to the channel. Shout out to everyone who is still working right now. Shout out to everybody driving trucks, hauling over the road. Shout out to those nurses in residency. Shout out to all our post-grads getting started in their careers. Shouts out to the Uber drivers. Shouts out to the first responders. Basically, everybody who keeps everything running while everybody else is asleep. We really do appreciate you. I appreciate you. If nobody else says it, we really do. We wouldn't be able to wake up in the morning if it wasn't for the people who take care of everything at night. Like, for example, the people who stock Walmart and all that overnight. Yo, shouts out to them. But today's topic, we're gonna get into it. Today's topic is about business practices in our community. This is gonna be a good one. So y'all fasten your seatbelts, grab your popcorn and your chai tea latte or your I don't want to say your Mountain Dew Cold Red, whatever it is that you're drinking, or your brandy, your scotch, your Cayman Jack. Grab what you grab your drinks, get comfortable, get settled in, and we're gonna get into it shortly. But today we're gonna go through some points, some challenges, some opportunities. Just have a deeper discussion on our interaction in the business world. In the meantime, in between time, we're gonna pay a little bit of bills, take a brief commercial break, and we'll be back. Stay tuned. Guess who's back? Yeah. So, if this is your first time tuning in, I am your host Magnum. This is the Vibez Lounge podcast. Today's topic is about business ethics and the business culture in our community. What I did is I pulled up one of Yam Stacy's videos. Shout out to Yam Stacy, who's another content creator on YouTube. He brought out the Keith Lee, Chad Ochocinco Johnson controversy because a lot of people feel some type of way about Keith Lee giving his critique on black restaurants and black businesses. And one of the people who had a harsh criticism of Keith Lee's perspective was Chad Ochocinco. He was on Shay Shay's podcast and they was going back and forth, and he really had some words about Keith Lee. And Me, I'm on the side of Keith Lee. I have high standards for restaurants when I visit them, and I have an expectation that the people who are in business know what it takes to be there. Let me bring this down a little bit so y'all can hear me. Let me get in a little closer, chat. So what I'm trying to tell you is I'm definitely on Keith Lee's side when it comes to having a higher expectation of the service and product that you receive from people. And I don't feel like just because you're of a certain background that you should get a pass. Yes, of course, everyone deserves grace, but not when you don't deserve it, or you come off as if you're entitled to that grace from somebody, because you're absolutely not. What I'm going to do shortly is I'm going to pull up Yeah, I'm Stacy's video so we can get more context as to what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it already, I definitely am about to pull it up. In the meantime, just a reminder, let me know where you're from, what state, what country you hail from. Let me know how you found the channel. And just a reminder also, we are doing giveaways. So if you subscribe to the channel and leave a comment, you are automatically entered into our giveaways. My merch store is up. You can check out the link in our channel's description. And I will be posting the link in the video description once it's uploaded. But it's on Streamlabs. You can go to streamlabs.com, the first Magnum, and you can check out some of my merch. Soon I will be doing a little bit of I don't want to say a rip the runway, but we will have some people modeling some of the gear, and I will be posting that on YouTube. So if you're interested in something like that and you want to be a part of it, just hit me up. Leave me an email. My email is in my channel description, and let's get this popping. Let's do some business. Let me pull this out the way. What I'm about to do is pull up first. I don't want to pull up. And shouts out to somebody else who's a friend of mine. A lot of people know this dude. I'm gonna let y'all see who it is first. If y'all know who I'm talking about, leave it in the chat who I'm talking about. Alright, let me pull this up real quick. So, Yeah, I'm Stacy made a video talking about Chad Johnson goes off on Keith Lee for criticizing black restaurants. Here's why he's wrong. Let's see if we can pull that up real quick. And bring this music down a little something. I know that music is bumping, but we gotta hear what Keith has to say. Alright, let's bring up Keith real quick.
Oh man, so a lot of times when it comes to public figures, some narratives can get out there, they can get out of hand. And if it's not checked, that narrative will stand. So this video right here, we're gonna go ahead and check this narrative about Keith Lee. Goes hard with criticism on black businesses, black restaurants. And listen, this man has been doing this for a little minute. He doesn't only critique black restaurants, and just because that's all that you see that may cross your eyes doesn't mean it's true. Now, I was already gathering this video to put it out because someone asked me about this on the platform. That's whether or not he reviews non-black business.
Now look, now y'all can see, chat, people talking about, oh, he's criticizing black businesses and all that stuff. Now, if you can tell right here, hold on, close that. If you can tell right here, he's with Mr. Beast. Now, Mr. Beast is one of the most, if probably not the most popular YouTuber out there. I mean, probably filthy rich. And he has somebody whom we don't, like most of our community don't even know who this dude is. But he is with one of the most powerful people. He is sitting with one of the most powerful people on YouTube right now. And guess what he does? He doesn't sugarcoat for this dude. And he's one of the most powerful people on YouTube. So if he's not sugarcoating for this dude, and he's trying to be polite, he's trying to be professional and respectful, but he's still being honest. Let's get into it so you'll see what I'm talking about.
But as I was doing that, this clip came out from Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson, and Aunt Shannon Sharp debating about Keith Lee. And Chad Johnson is going in on Keith Lee, giving his honest opinion on black businesses, and feels like because they are black businesses, he shouldn't do that.
The Atlanta food scene, we unique because a lot of times it's all about dressing up, and it's an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hour wait time. A lot of times, Ocho, you got to eat a meal before you actually go to the restaurant because you're gonna be hungry damn again before you actually get in the restaurant. So it's perfect. And look, I don't want people to think what's going on is unique to Atlanta and black restaurants. Normally, Ocho, you know this from being a performer, a professional athlete. We get privileges sometimes at the restaurant, and sometimes we get to get things that normal people don't get. It happens.
I don't like it.
Ocho, so you've never gotten the table because you were Ocho Cinco.
I'm not talking about that. Yeah. And when they do, and you know me, you know how I move, and everybody in this chat knows how I move when I go to restaurants. If you seat me first, you understand what's coming at the end when it's time to tip. I've been doing that 20-some years.
Okay, but
I don't like the fact that.
But just because you bought the tip.
I don't like.
So, okay. So, if I'm tipping at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that I can't critique the restaurant service or quality of food. That makes no sense. That actually gives me more of an incentive to critique if I'm actually supporting the business outside of just the cost of the meal. If I'm generously tipping, then I should have a bit of a critique. And the reason why is because you want to see the business improve. It's not because you're trying to down the business or trying to degrade them. You really want them to improve. That's why you're telling them where they go wrong. Now, granted, there are some people out there who just have a negative a negative outlook on a lot of things, and they will degrade any experience just because, and they mainly do it out of spite, or they mainly do it because they're trying to gain some type of advantage over the establishment. I know people like that, not personally, but I know people who have done that, where they'll cause the controversy because they know they'll get something out of it in order to prevent things from going overboard, or to get something free out of the deal. They'll make a fuss. There's people out there like that. But for the vast majority, with Keith Lee, no, he's being genuine. Like, he's genuinely going to these places, giving his honest critique of his experience there. And whether it's good or bad, he's being honest. He's not lying to the people. He's not giving them what they want to hear. He's telling them what he experienced from his perspective, not from anybody else's feelings. Let's get back into it.
I don't like it. I don't like the critiquing of our restaurants and having people and talking bad about our goddamn businesses and like, dude, you know how hard it is,
and I get it, Ocho,
for us to even get in the food industry and to have our own restaurant. And so,
Ocho,
like, what are we doing?
Don't ask me to come to your house and then ask me what I think about it without asking me to give you my honest opinion.
Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for that.
A lot of these people, listen, a lot of these restaurants do DM him, ask him to come. But he wants to go on. A lot of times he wants to go unannounced and give people. That's what he is. He's a food critic. He's turned himself into a food critic. It's okay.
Are we turning himself into resume? What are the qualifications of being a food critic?
Go to a restaurant and do you like the food? Did you like the customer service? What was it like? Yes. What was the wait time like? That's all you got to do.
How about go do that at Maestro's? Go do that shit at Chris Root. Go do it at Poppy Steak. Go do it at fucking Zuma. Go do it at goddamn whatever the fucking rest of them goddamn 5-star restaurants that everybody. Go do it at that. Name one of the restaurants you go to in LA. Name one. Where you and Selena Gomez went? Where y'all went? What's the name of the restaurant y'all went to?
I don't forgot now.
You know.
I honestly forgot because I have never been there before.
Go do it at they restaurants and give them the bad press and all the bad.
Ocho. Because you're black doesn't mean you're above criticism.
I'm not saying you're above anything, but go do it there. It's hard enough for us as it is. Now here you go.
So in other words, so if he got bad service, he's supposed to just let that slide.
Service wasn't bad. Service wasn't bad.
Oh,
Service because it wasn't. It wasn't. I ain't never had bad service. And
Ocho.
even if the service was bad, they might be having a bad day because some of the goddamn idiots they don't have to deal with.
Ocho,
all
you
goddamn
can't,
day.
Ocho, honestly, in the customer service business, you can't have a bad day. Because think about what you just said. Customer service.
Do you know what it's like dealing with some of these people?
You shouldn't get in that
Every
business.
day.
Do not get into the customer service business if you can be easily perturbed by having a bad day.
But sometimes you need a job. And sometimes that job, being customer service and being in the food industry, is all you can do at that
Ocho.
time.
Hold on, I had to say something right here. What Chad just did was the very reason why it is very difficult for us to raise our standards. I know a lot of people don't know what he just did, but what Chad just did was justify poor behavior. What he just did was justify lack of professionalism in a professional setting because of your feelings. How you feel does not dictate your professional conduct. That's something that we need to learn if we want to be in more professional spaces and we want to reach a higher echelon. You must learn to control your emotions. Regardless of what the customer says, your response is always professional. If it's not professional, it means that it shows lack of character. It shows lack of understanding of how to deal with people in social settings. When you are the person who's providing a service or a product, it is a poor look for you to not be able to de-escalate or resolve an issue with your customer quickly, efficiently, and mutually beneficial for the both of you. If you're unable to do that as a entrepreneur, as a business owner, you should not be in business. Let us continue.
I know me. I can't be in the customer service business because I'm easily irritated.
Yeah.
I don't like no hey.
I don't want to keep stopping it, but listen. I can't be in the restaurant business because I'm easily irritated. That's what he just said. He's wise enough to know, he's self-aware enough to know that if he's put into a situation where he has to engage with people who may perturb him, he knows he's going to be a bit harsh in his response. And he's aware of that, so he knows he can't be in that particular job market or job field. That is smart. If you know you're not a person who's able to handle people in the public, don't take a job on where you know that you're not qualified or not capable or not prepared to handle people in the public. Get a job doing something else and let the people who are prepared to handle people in the public, let them deal with it. And this goes for management, hiring managers, HR managers. Stop hiring people who are not qualified to engage with the public. Why do you keep hiring people who, let me give you a perfect example. Oh my God. I'm just 5 minutes into this video. Okay. Why is there a difference between the service you get at Popeyes and the service you get at Chick-fil-A? I'm gonna let that question marinate for a little while. We're gonna continue.
I ordered this and they mess up the order. Okay, I get that, Ocho, but you have to understand, people are paying their hard-earned money. So I have the right. If I like the service, I'm gonna say I like the service. Now me, I don't go, look, Ocho, you know what? In this business, what I've been in, Ocho, I've been very fortunate. I've met a lot of high-profile people.
Yeah.
And one of the first things people ask me is what he or she is like. And you know what I tell them? I can only tell you through my experience. I don't know what they'll be like to you. I don't know what they're like to him. I don't know what they're like to someone else. I can just tell you what they're like to me. When I go to a restaurant, my experience at that restaurant might be different than yours. It might be different than Jordan's. It might be different than Malika's. But I can just tell you from my experience, it was unbelievable. Or no, it wasn't very good. The people weren't courteous. The service was lacking. The food was cold. It took me a long time to get seated. It took me a long time for the servers to come back and take my order. That's my experience. Right. You might go there and have a totally different experience.
Listen, I hear what you're saying, and I'm gonna agree to disagree.
Okay.
I like to leave my mark on all restaurants I go to, regardless of what it is. I am more about being the positive influence, and when I leave those places and leaving my mark, and I don't want my mark to be that of what Brother Keith Lee is doing. Listen, I salute him to what he's doing and trying to let the people know about restaurants in Atlanta. The restaurants that I've been in Atlanta, that I've been to, have been just fine.
Ocho,
all of them have been.
Now, what he's doing right here is he's minimizing the experiences of everybody who is not him. So everybody who has a negative experience does not exist because he doesn't have a negative experience. That is extremely self-centered and what's the other word? I don't want to say obnoxious. But to say that because you don't have a negative experience that no one else does is selfish.
Realize a lot of times, people have said their restaurant has been saved because he's giving them a positive critique. Huh? A lot of the restaurants said they have been able to remain in business because of the positive critique. So now, again, like I said, I don't have a problem tipping. A lot of times when I leave my room, I left money on the table today. I said, ma'am, I was at the table last night and I didn't get an opportunity to throw the stuff in the trash. I said, I left money on the table. It's yours if you clean it up. It might not have been her room, but I bet you went in there and got that stuff off that table and threw it away.
I got you.
I'm a service type of guy.
I'm just telling you.
Keep the ginger ale flowing. Right. You keep the ginger ale flowing, your boy gonna break you off real nice.
I'm just telling you how I am. I'm telling you how I am, how I understand what the people in the service industry have to go through. I understand the personalities, the people that they have to deal with time and time again for hours and hours at a time, stand on your feet, ordering, dealing with different personalities.
You chose that job.
Listen to me, and I can empathize with them, even though they chose that job. Maybe that's the only opportunity they have to make money. So I understand that. So I don't go in there. I never send food back. I don't care about the food being goddamn cold. I'm going to make your day at your job as easy as possible when I enter your establishment, as easy as possible, and I'm gonna leave your ass with a motherfucking blessing, because they no telling what the fuck you had to go through before I got here.
He keeps talking about what he's given to everybody. He's not thinking about the experiences of the everyday person. He's blessed enough to where he walks into a restaurant, he doesn't have to care what a person went through. He doesn't have to experience that. So it has nothing to do with, wait, hold on. It has nothing to do with what the everyday person goes through. It's me. It's Ocho Cinco. Ocho Cinco doesn't go through that. So why is he talking bad about people? Ocho Cinco doesn't experience that. It's not about Ocho Cinco. It's about what that person, Keith Lee, experienced when they went. Now, whether or not you may experience that is subjective. You may go through the same experience he went through and not be bothered by it. But there are maybe potential thousands of people who may go through that experience and find it uncomfortable or unsettling or unprofessional. We have to start looking at things from more than just, I see it this way, I see it that way. We are a collective group of people with a lot of different experiences. We can learn and draw from other people's experiences in the community when they have been places, when they've traveled, when they've had different dynamics presented to them and not just the mundane everyday ABCD. Some people actually have a lot more experience worldwide in engaging with different cultures and different personalities. And there's people who are very, very limited in their exposure. People who are very limited in exposure don't have the same level of depth in their conversations or their presentations because they haven't had those experiences. So when Keith Lee is talking from a place of experience. He's not talking from a place of, well, I just do this and this is what I do. No, he's been all over the place. Let's proceed.
And that's just how I move. That's just how I move. I'm not leaving no fucking bad critiques and talking shit about your place. I'm gonna make sure when I leave there, I'm gonna leave there for blessing and I'm gone. That's just me. What he's doing, that's cool, that's fine. And you know, more power to him, and more power to those that is affecting in a positive or negative way. That's just me.
You feeling some type of way about that?
I mean, that's just me. I'm thinking from a business standpoint, how fucking hard it is for people to fucking build. Just that's fucking bullshit, man.
I tell you what, you open a restaurant, I'm bringing.
Now, he wants to talk about how hard it is to build a restaurant. That is a choice. You choose to open that restaurant. If you choose to open a restaurant, you should know what comes with the service industry. The service industry is notorious for high expectations, especially in how you treat the people who come and spend money with you. If you don't understand that, you should not be in the service industry. If you have not been properly trained in how to conduct business with customers, with clients, with people who are spending their hard-earned money, they're not coming in, the average person is not coming in throwing $100 at the restaurant just because they feel like it. The average person is coming in there with a budget. They're trying to decide what's the best place for them to eat, the best experience to have, because they're probably coming off of a long week or they're starting a long week. These are regular working folks who come to your restaurant and would like to have a wonderful experience. Are you providing that wonderful experience, or are you no different than the people behind the counter at Popeyes? Are you Chick-fil-A or are you Popeyes? If you don't know the difference, you definitely are the problem. Let's proceed. Shout out to MTR, by the way. Shout out to Yeah, I'm Stacy. Shout out to Average Man's Podcast. Shout out to Poor Man's Podcast. Shout out to Dennis Sperlin. Shout out to the lead attorney. Shout out to We Need to Talk. And to, oh, Lord of mercy, before I forget, shout out to Miss Melanie King. Shout out to all the ladies and fellas in this space that are trying to bring the best infotainment, the best information and entertainment mixed together in the most glorious of real latte flavored truth you could ever put in the back of your throat. Anyway, let's proceed.
Roaches and rats with me.
That's fine. That's fine.
I said, man, hey, I'm gonna have my camera lady. Oh, drop it lady. Hey, look at this right here. Look at that big old one right here.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about how that shit really affecting people, restaurants out there, man, in Black Hollywood, man. Cause now that you done, now I'm really allowing it to sink in. Like that's. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm finna follow up.
Whew. And take a look at this now. Now, everybody's like, I don't know who this dude is. Who's this dude? Who's that? This is how arrogant some people can be once they get money. You don't realize that the right person, regardless of how popular they are, how notorious they are, because they're on social media or they got cameras in their face 24/7, they might be a plain everyday old person that you never heard of, and they'll give a critique on their business, and that can either make or break your business. Meanwhile, when they walk into your door, you're looking at them like they're just somebody with $20 that you can take out of their hands. but they're coming in the door with all of the power of your restaurant. They're coming in the door with the power of either having 200 people follow them or 200 people deciding never to show up. And meanwhile, in your mind, you're thinking that you're the powerful one. Humble yourselves, show more appreciation and respect to the people who are giving their hard-earned money to you, and you will definitely see a increase. I won't get too deep into it, but I just wanted to respond to that. Let's proceed.
I'm going to be a motherfucking food critic in Atlanta. I'm going to be a food critic. I'm finna go to every I'm going to every restaurant in Atlanta, and I'm leaving a $5,000 tip. And I'm gonna tell them these motherfucking restaurants was perfect and the service was phenomenal. Just to overshadow that fucking shit, bullshit. Talk about restaurants.
You do realize the food critic, they go all around the.
Now, do you realize what he just did? He said, you know what? I'm going to become a food critic. If he can do it, I can do it. Why can't I do it? And I'm going to go and I'm going to try to undo everything that he's doing. I'm going to try to go and undo it. That's what he just said. Does that sound like a brother who's genuinely trying to help everybody, or someone who's moving out of spite? You get what I'm saying? There's a difference between, oh, I like what he's doing, let me see if I can build on top of it. I get that. You see somebody do something fly, you like, yo, I love that idea, let me try to build on that. And you give credit, you pay homage. But when you see somebody do something and you like, I don't like how he doing that, I'm gonna go and do it myself, and I'm gonna, like, that's backbiting right there. That's called backbiting. That's kind of foul. But there's people out there really like that. Like, they see you got a good idea, they like, I want to take that idea. He don't know what he doing with that idea. Give me that idea. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna outshine him with his own idea. Gotta be careful.
United States.
Gordon Ramsay is the only food critic I know.
Now, this is so similar to this conversation that I had about female artists that's in the rap game right now. It's been so hard for female artists to be relevant in the game. But now that they are getting the same amount of attention as men when it comes to social media, they are being covered just as the men, and people are being very critical of them. The people think they shouldn't be as critical because they are females. So that reminds me of Chad Johnson saying this right here, with saying black businesses that have such a hard time getting in this industry, people shouldn't be critical of them. I just don't think that's a fair assessment. Now, to address Chad's issues as far as whether or not Keith Lee covers non-black businesses. Well, Keith Lee actually went to Gordon Ramsay's spot, and he kept it real as hell. And in comparison to this,
now, your boy earlier was like, why he don't go here? Why he don't go there? Why he up in black businesses? Dude, black businesses got some of the greatest food, but some of the worst service. All black folks gotta do is limit the sodium and sugar in the food and be polite, courteous, and humble and respectful. It's not complicated. But when your ego is involved, when you think that you bigger and better than everybody else, you start to feel some type of way when you think somebody disrespected you. They might not have even intended on it, or they might not have even actually disrespected you. But if you feel like they disrespected you, or you feel like they think they better than you, now you got to prove that you're better than them. Rather than just letting a fool be a fool, you would say, let me be a fool too and expose my foolishness along with you. And the people who have common sense are sitting back looking at you like, I don't even want to be a part of this. But let's hear what Keith Lee had to say about Gordon Ramsay's restaurant.
he handled those black businesses with care.
Overrated or underrated Gordon Ramsay fish and chips?
One may ask themselves, why am I sitting here empty-handed at home with no food, even though I just left Gordon Ramsay's fish and chips? Health reasons, safety reasons, both of those are true. First, let's speak about the customer service. It was terrible. I called beforehand because they are on the strip. They in the Link Promenade, and anybody that's in Vegas knows the Link Promenade from the parking lot is about a 20-minute walk. 15, give or take, if you walking fast. I didn't want to make that walk without my food being done, so I tried to call. No answer. I walked in and immediately noticed the kitchen didn't look that clean. It was a bowl, like a metal bowl, full with 20 to 25 pieces of cooked fish that looked freezing cold. It was around open packages. It was around raw fish. It was around other customers' orders that haven't been completed yet. It made me uncomfortable. I have a shellfish allergy, so my red flags went off immediately. I didn't want to get sick. Immediately.
Let's stop right there. Another reason. I'm not going to go into very specific details. Chat, if you've ever experienced this, let me know. When you try to let a person know that they're doing something dangerous or unhealthy, and they look at you like you the crazy one, but when the health inspectors show up, all of a sudden they want to get worried and nervous and all this other stuff. But you gave them the heads up beforehand, like, hey, these two things shouldn't be close to each other. That's cross-contamination. You can get somebody sick. If somebody walks in here and sees raw fish sitting next to cooked chicken, or raw chicken sitting next to cooked fish, or vegetables sitting underneath meat in the refrigerator. Anybody who understands food safety knows what I was just talking about. If you got lettuce underneath the beef tips, the raw beef tips in the refrigerator, anybody who's been in the food industry knows exactly what the problem with that is. But Keith Lee is obviously smart. He's not a dummy at all. He's making it very clear that he's observant and he knows what's a potential risk and even a potential death hazard. Now, it's one thing to get a cold. It's another thing to get food poisoning or to have an allergic reaction to something that you should not have in your body. Those are two completely different things. Some people can die off a cold, but most people can get over it. Food poisoning, if you get food poisoning and you don't know you have it, you can potentially die from that. If you have an allergy to, say, shellfish, and somebody serves you something that is contaminated with shellfish, you can potentially die. So when people look at me crazy when I tell them, hey, that's dangerous to do, I back up because that person has no care. That person does not care about living creatures. But let's proceed.
I'm a very observant person, so I took that into note and I went to order my food. I got 3 pieces of fish, some dirty fries that had like bacon and cilantro sauce on them, and a Biscoff shake. It sounded delicious. After I was done ordering, right before I got my total, I asked the lady, can you please make a note to the kitchen that I'm allergic to shellfish? All I wanted her to do was go tell the kitchen, hey, don't touch his fish with that lobster. After you get done touching that shrimp, go wash your hands because he allergic to it. That's all I expected. She said, no, I can't do that. Everything in here is contaminated. Those were her exact words. She said the bowls, they use the exact same bowls for the fish, chicken, lobster, shrimp. They use the exact same oil for the fish, chicken, lobster, shrimp.
Now let me stop right there. Anybody who's cooked in a restaurant knows that you're not supposed to fry your fish and your chicken in the same grease. And 90% of the time, you don't fry the shellfish in anything else that you frying. You don't fry that stuff. You fry shellfish and things like that separate from everything else. But everybody knows that you separate the seafood fryer from the poultry and everything else. From the poultry, the french fries, you separate that from shellfish. Everybody knows that. you are definitely putting people's lives at risk when you do that. That's just reckless.
I'm not no expert, but that sounds gross. I said, okay, so there's no way that you can make an exception and not use the same bowl that you would lobster on my fish? She said, no, everything is contaminated in a very stoic and cold manner. I said, okay, what about chicken? She said, no, we're gonna toss the chicken in the same bowl that we toss the lobster and the shrimp in. I gladly and kindly turned around and walked my ass out of that building. If you wanna go, be safe, be careful. I don't want nobody getting sick. God bless you.
Now, before I continue, my boy sitting in a Paw Patrol chair. My boy sitting here chilling in a Paw Patrol chair, just posted up. My boy, I don't think my boy blinks maybe once in an 8-minute time span. And his eyebrows are the most intensely focused eyebrows or eyebrow arch muscles above the eyebrows. I don't know what that is, but it looks like intense focus on whatever it is he's talking about. I can't help but just listen and watch what he has to say because his eyebrows don't move, he don't blink, and he just straight explains. If I had the memory of being able to gather my thoughts like that, I don't know if he's reading or if he's literally going off of memory. But if he's going off of memory, hold on. Shout out to Willie D. Yeah, man, that's right. Anyway, if he's doing that off of memory, that is crazy. But if he's doing that, like reading it off of something, that man is a trip because he don't blink and his eyebrows just stay in the same position the entire time. But let's see what else he has to say. And this is this is what Ojo Cinco said. He can't be talking about the rude Gordon Ramsay that criticizes chefs on that TV show about the cooking and his restaurant is over here cross-contaminating.
Response to that, this lady says he can't be talking about the rude Gordon Ramsay that criticizes chefs on that TV show about their cooking and his restaurant is over here cross-contaminating. This person says, I'm white and I had the GR shepherd pie. It was overpriced and tasted nasty. I had purchased 2 of them, ate one, and then tossed the other in the trash. This lady says shorty was real though, for real, cause she could have just said, okay, I'll let him know, and got him sick anyway. Could have been delivered better it seems, but it's real. Homie ass Gordon Ramsay has to put his own restaurant on Kitchen Nightmares. When does it air? This person also says he rated Mr. Beast stuff
Boy said put his own restaurant on
Mr.
Kitchen
Beast
Nightmares.
sat at the same table, no outrage.
What I said earlier. Mr. Beast is one of the most popular people on YouTube. This dude was roasting for most people. When you meet a celebrity or somebody, like you trying to impress them and you want to make them look good, so they'll give you a little plug or a little shout out. Keith Lee wasn't having none of that. He ain't rate nothing over an 8. He was like 6.8, 7.5, 7.9. Like he's trying his best not to get his dude an average score. He's trying his best to give him a passing grade. But he's literally telling him like, yo, this is too much sugar for me. Like, yo, this is not a good taste. Like, he's literally being as honest as he can. And Mr. Beast is over there looking at the guy behind the camera like, help, help. He's literally looking behind him like, yo, this dude is literally about to kill me. He's about to kill my chocolate. This dude ain't giving me no 10-star reviews. And he was like, yo, all right, I got it. You don't like a lot of sugar. He started giving the dark chocolate. He started giving them all the ones that wasn't like sweet and stuff so he could get a higher rating. And it was like, you could tell Mr. Beast was like, I cannot believe I had this dude on here. He's just roasted me on my own. He's roasting me on my own reviews. Boy, it was hilarious. If they show it, oh my God, I hope they show it here. Let's see.
Fact, here it goes right here.
I got all the pieces.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And rank them.
Look at this, y'all.
I'm gonna be completely honest. Totally not biased because if it sells more, I make more money.
I'm gonna be honest, and I hope Jim.
You said he said it. He was like, I'm totally not biased because if he likes it, I'm gonna make more money. And this dude was like, I'm gonna be totally honest. And you see Mr. Beast, like he cracks this smile. Like if you're looking at his face right now, that is not the smile of somebody I'm really looking forward to his critique. And is anybody else see this Paw Patrol table? What is with the Paw Patrol? Okay. All right, we're gonna go back to this. Oh, this is gonna be so good.
Jimmy is sitting next to me and not getting his feelings hurt.
Let's do
Look,
it.
see?
It's the milk chocolate bar.
That smile
Very
came off
different
fast.
Hershey's. I know you probably never eat Hershey's because they're terrible. Never met anyone that likes Hershey's. And how would you compare that to one?
It's a little too sweet.
To live with that?
It's not bad. It is a lot sweeter than what I would like though. 7 out of 10.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
We're still figuring it out.
That's a good start. A good starting spot though.
All right, you know what? Let's rip up. Here, I got it. Here. All right, this is our crunch bar.
Okay. This is the one you believe in.
Yes.
Huh.
I got a question. Whose house are they in? Cause last I checked, he just did a review of another restaurant, Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. And he was sitting in a Paw Patrol chair, right? Now, Mr. Beast is sitting next to him, and they're sitting at a Paw Patrol table. Whose house is this?
Crazy, Jimmy.
No? You don't like crunch bars?
I do like crunch bars, but again, it's too sweet.
Let me try this. Maybe these are defective.
I
Oh
do
my
like
god, this tastes good to me.
Wait, we supposed to be ranking them. I rated the first one, so we going completely off of.
Oh,
we
well,
going completely off of.
We're in too deep. I rate this a 10 out of 10. I give this an 11 out of 10.
7.2.
Now, you see how Mr. Beast is trying his best to over hype the product. And the whole point Keith Lee is there is to rate the product. That's why he's there. So for everybody else to try and all of a sudden overtake his ratings is a clear sign that they expected him to kind of co-sign with their product. And they definitely expected a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Oh my God, wow, this is the best thing ever. Put another one in my mouth, pause. Let's continue.
Out of 10.
This is amazing.
This is better than the milk chocolate for sure.
I'm totally not biased.
It's better than milk chocolate. What do I put this at? I don't feel comfortable throwing either though.
Which one here interests you enough? Do you like dark chocolate?
Yes, I love dark chocolate.
Try this bad boy. This is the same thing but dark chocolate. What'd you say, Ron?
That's my favorite.
My cameraman's favorite.
This is your favorite?
Keep in mind, only 5 ingredients. Infinitely healthier for you than the normal thing out there.
Also my favorite so far.
Okay.
Yeah, Rohan got good taste.
Here's the thing. I didn't realize you were a dark chocolate guy.
I'm not a super dark chocolate guy. I do love dark chocolate, but I'm more of a in the middle sweet. I don't like super sweet.
Yeah.
And the milk chocolate was super sweet for me, but this is perfect sugar level. It is bitter because again I like dark chocolate, so I get this a 7.8 out of 10.
Okay, I'm starting to understand this, man.
we
Okay.
get a little
Okay.
higher.
I'm starting to figure this man out.
Now, 7.8 out of
You're gonna
10.
like this one, right? You like
7.8 out of 10. He is not going to get his dude a 8, a 9, or a 10 unless he means it. That's called integrity, folks. Something that a lot of people don't understand is extremely valuable in the business world. When it comes to your reputation in the business world, integrity is everything. I'm from the hood. I may not be a hood dude. I'm a reformed hood dude. But Scarface said it best. I think he said, all I have is my balls and my word. Your word is everything. your ability to stand up as a man and be honest about what you say and what you really thinking, and still be respectful and honest and still maintain your dignity, that is honorable in the business world. If you lack that, don't expect to have a a business with longevity. You should expect to have your business long enough for people to try to take advantage of you, and then you'll be struggling to keep your business afloat from that point on. So as long as you have integrity, you will definitely have people who are willing to support you and be there for you as much as they can. But when you don't have integrity, expect to have a lot of wolves around you. Now, if you show that level of integrity, now you see how he's not phased by, excuse me, he's not phased by Mr. Beast. He's not phased by him. So as much as Mr. Beast is trying to influence his critique and his rating of the product, it simply ain't working because he's his own man. He respects his own perspective.
Like salt?
He has integrity.
I'm gonna get rid of these.
No, I want the
those. You just don't. Trust me. You're a dark chocolate kind of guy. Yes. I can read the room. The room is red.
Okay, Jimmy. Not crazy, but it is good. And when you compare it to Hershey's, absolutely. When
That's
you
all
compare it
I
to Hershey's, it is
I
good.
agree. I agree. You know, you are so right. I'm gonna slam this chair. Hershey's sucks.
I give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. I'll take it. You know,
I wasn't expecting to get higher than a 6. It is a lot better than I was expecting.
agreed.
I'm happy.
Same.
This is my favorite one.
I'm very happy.
The sea salt chocolate. God bless you guys. Have an amazing day.
Can I flip the table to end it?
Do whatever you feel comfortable.
So as y'all can see, Keith Lee gonna keep it a.
Now I got questions. Now he had to hit the sea salt and chocolate. He's like, I give this one an 8 out of 10. So Mr. Beast, excuse me, was not feeling that at all. Excuse me. If you can't tell, Mr. Beast was extremely uncomfortable with his level of honesty. He was really expecting somebody to kind of just like cape for him or whatever you want to call it. Like give him a cosign that he didn't necessarily want to give him. Just so he could say Keith Lee co-signed to my things and gave me a 10 out of 10. Now you gotta buy my product because Keith Lee loves it. So even black people are gonna still be like, Keith Lee gave it a 7.5. It's probably just average. Just like, meh. You get what I'm saying? So think about how powerful and influential Keith Lee is to the fact that he didn't even have to, like he didn't get out of frame at all. He was still the same person the whole time. He may have broken character. I wouldn't say break character, but you can kind of tell he laughed or, you know, he wanted to say certain things, but he kind of held it in and tried to be a little bit more, not political, diplomatic about the situation. But let's see what other people had to say on the video. Just a reminder, this is on Yam Stacy's channel. You can subscribe to him, take a look at his channel because he has a lot of good content as well. So I'll be reacting to another one of his videos after this as well. Let's get back into it.
Buck, and that's how he maintains his integrity. That's how he maintains his word, and that's why people respect his opinion. That's why it's this huge media storm. That's why it's folks overseas that's making a list of places in America that they won't visit based off a Keith Lee review, and that goes beyond the black community. I mean, the proof is in the numbers.
Now you heard that. This is where we have this this closed-mindedness. And I wanna really break that ceiling in our mentality. We have this ceiling of where we think we should stop as far as our expectations. The world is a global entity now. It's not just limited to the 5 blocks around you. It's not limited to your city. It's not limited to your neck of the woods. Like, the internet is global, and people come from all over the country to America. They may end up in one of 52 states now. What is it, 52 states now? They may end up in one of these 50 something states. And when they end up here, for example, if they end up here in my state, if they're getting ratings or a business has a bad reputation, when they get here, they already have it in their mind that they'll never show up to your business. Is that the kind of impression that you would want to leave on people who never even got the chance to know you? And it's simply based off of your presentation of your business. You don't present your business properly. You don't show a level of concern or care for the presentation, for the appearance, for the quality of service and professionalism that's expected of a top tier restaurant. You should look and sound as good as your food tastes. So if your food is banging, your service should be just as good. If you got a slamming mac and cheese, I should feel like your mac and cheese is slamming as soon as I walk through the door. As soon as I step into your establishment, I should feel like your baked chicken tastes better than the service that I'm getting. I should almost feel like I would rather come just for the service over the food. If the food is good and the service is good, you have like the trifecta. Good food, good service, and you have a sense of you appreciate your customers. You value the fact that people are actually coming to your establishment and you're not God's gift to them. They're God's gift to you. Because if no one spends food in your restaurant, God can easily take that away from you. If God gave it to you, God can take it away. So if you believe God gave it to you, He obviously gave it to you for a reason. And He might have some expectations of you in the process. Now, if an angel comes by and gives you a little message saying, hey, love the French fries, but why nobody says hi when I walk in the door? Or why does it seem like it takes so long for someone to approach me in order to take care of things? Or when I'm curious about the process, why is it I feel like people dismiss my concerns about the quality of food that I'm about to receive? As a paying customer, me personally, I pay and I tip well. And if I really like you, I'll tip really well. But as a person who has a high expectation of service, I've seen a lot of situations where people should definitely not be in the service industry. I've worked in a lot of different restaurants, fast food chains, all the way up to more, I don't want to say, I guess you could say upscale restaurants. But I've noticed that not everybody needs to be in a position to engage with customers, with the public. Not everybody's designed for that. You have to have a sense of humility. You have to have a sense of egolessness in order to truly serve the public. And we've gone away from that, mainly because America kind of encourages you to be arrogant, to be proud, to have a sense of looking down on others in order to project a higher sense of yourself. Where other cultures actually shun that type of behavior because it's more so about the collective than it is about the individual. Because the collective group can technically shut the individual off. But we're in a culture now where we don't have that sense of responsibility or obligation to the group. and people outside of the group are actually financing our own self-defamation. I can't think of a better word than that, but it really is like we're being funded to self-defame ourselves. But before I go too much deeper into that, I'm gonna let Keith Lee finish up. We're gonna let Stacy finish up his summary, and then we're gonna take a brief intermission after that.
Honestly, to reach that big of an audience as he has on TikTok, I believe over 14 million followers and counting, you have to appeal to more than just black folks to grow that fast early. That's honest. To be honest, we're just smaller over here. And to do that, you have to provide a service for people outside of just this community. So he has to go to more than just black businesses. It's great that he doesn't single out black businesses for sure, and he does what he can to help them, and we see that all the time, man. But I had to come and do this video right here because I seen Ocho speaking. I'm like, bro, I love Ocho. He from the crib, but he just speaking just to speak because he always gonna try to defend his people. I understand that, but sometimes it does come off as ignorant when you aren't looking at the big scope of the whole situation. Still love Ocho because he gonna defend his folks no matter what, though. I respect that. I respect that, and we just gotta take it for what it is, you know. You have to put an asterisk over some of his takes, man. Throw that dude regardless, but y'all gotta let me.
Alright, so as you can tell, there's been a big deal between Keith Lee and his critique of Atlanta restaurants and basically what is a overall generalization or representation of the general black culture and how we do business. The reason why this is so important is because a lot of people already feel this sentiment. A lot of people feel like, why do we have such great skills and we're really good at cooking, we're really good at making food, coming up with recipes, things like that. But when it comes to the service industry, the qualities necessary to excel in the service industry are sorely lacking. But before we get further deep dive into this topic, we're gonna take a brief break. Everybody grab your drinks, go do what you gotta do, walk your dog, let him go do what he gotta do. Grab your snacks, your popcorn, your hot Cheetos, your Takis, whatever it is that you do. And we're gonna take this brief break and we'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time here, I am your host, Magnum. This is the Vibez Lounge podcast, and this is episode 2, part 1, Black Folks in Business. Now, last week we were talking about the black community and AI. We had a 3-part series. First part was really about the challenges and opportunities of AI. The second part, I let Cat Williams basically talk his talk. He had a special at the Barclays Center, and I essentially let him go on about AI as well as a variety of other topics. And the third installment of AI in the black community was actually me going into the tools used to generate the AI imagery, and on top of that, go into the biases of the AI algorithm and the developers of these tools. Unfortunately, my mic didn't record, so the entire stream, 3 hours long, of me just dialoguing or monologuing, did not record. So you can see everything on the screen, you can hear all of the media and everything, but my voice didn't record. I'm sitting here watching my voice on the monitor, like, okay, everything's working, but I went back and listened to the stream and my voice did not record. So but you build a plane while you fly it. But so we're now into our second episode, part 1, about the black community and business. And the first half of the stream was really a presentation of Yam Stacy's reaction to Shay and Ocho Cinco having a back and forth about Keith Lee and his critique of Atlanta restaurants. Let me bring this down a little bit. Sorry about that. So, Chad, Ocho Cinco, and Shay went back and forth about the quality of service and the expectations that we should have of our people when they own a business and they're in the service industry or providing a service or product. Now, essentially, Chad got a chance to reflect on his perspective earlier, and he's going to give his response to Keith Lee a second time after reflecting on his initial response to Keith Lee and his critique of the restaurants. What we're going to do is go into that. Before we do, I just wanted to do a little housekeeping. Remember to like, share, and subscribe the video. Subscribe to the channel. Like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel. And leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. If you feel some type of way, or if you think that we could do better, and what solutions that you might have. Besides that, I wanted to give a shout out to all of the new subscribers, everybody who's been showing love and support and pushing this thing forward. Thank you to everyone who's giving me inspiration for the merch shop, for the podcast, and for the upcoming events. If you don't know who I am, once again, I am your host, Magnum, and this is the Vibez Lounge podcast. I host both the Vibez Lounge podcast and the Classic Crush gaming event series. On Mondays, I do Classic Crush. On Tuesdays, we have the Vibez Lounge podcast. And on Sundays, it's kind of more of a laid-back thing, but we will be doing interviews with local officials, celebrities, and personalities. And the more the channel continues to grow, the more reach we will have, and the more star power we will be pulling in for your viewing enjoyment, entertainment, and expansion of, you know, what you know in the world. But with all that being said, one more thing. Shout out to everybody who's still at work right now. Shout out to everybody who's still on the grind. Shout out to everybody who's keeping the businesses afloat. Shout out to everybody who's making a way. That goes all the way from people still working in the factories right now, working that graveyard shift, to my truckers over the road at 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, to the first responders trying not to fall asleep in the ambulance. Somebody call the ambulance. All the way to the nurses in residency. Let's see who else. To the Uber drivers who pulled off those last minute deliveries. And to everyone else who's keeping, to the people who are stocking overnight, them too. Shout out to everybody, to law enforcement, to my veterans. Hoorah, you know what that means. But enough about me. Let's get back into Keith Lee, Chad Johnson, and Shay. Let's see what they got to say.
Oh man, so
Let's go.
yesterday we covered Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson having a debate with Shannon Sharp about Keith Lee and saying how he did not like what Keith Lee was doing. Basically really going in on the man. But today Keith Lee has responded and he flamed Ocho in the nicest way possible. I ain't gonna lie, he flamed the man, goddamn. And we all know if Keith Lee ain't do it the way he wanted to, we got Farad B back with an anger translation. That's funny as hell. And
For y'all don't know who Farad B is, if you from around here, you should know who Farad B is. Farad B. Yo, this dude. Oh my God. All right. So I met this dude a while back. I've been watching his content for a while. I'm like, yo, I gotta get an interview with this dude. And unfortunately, we had met one time, and I really wanted to have a chance to interview him, but we did not have time to do it. But I promised him, like, I was like, yo, if I ever see you again, bro, like, I gotta interview you. Like, we gotta chop it up. But I got much love for Farad B. Shout out to my boy Farad.
by the way, Chad has seen the response. He has replied, but hold tight. We can get into all that, but first let's hear from Keith Lee.
I don't like the fact of what he's doing.
Ocho,
I don't like the critiquing of our restaurants and having people and talking bad about our goddamn businesses and like, dude, you know how hard it is
and I get it, Ocho.
for us to even get in the food industry and to have our own restaurant and so. Like,
Ocho.
what are we doing?
Let's talk about it. First, I want to say God bless you and I respect your opinion. Your opinion is just as valuable as the next person's opinion. But I do agree with you. It is hard to open a restaurant. It is hard to get the funding. It is hard to have people come in. I agree. And I'm blessed enough to be a marketing platform for those restaurants, completely free. To me, it seems like you have no idea who I am. And again, that's okay with me. The main point was my qualifications. I'll be honest with you. I've been a professional fighter for almost 10 years. I've traveled the world eating food. I've cut weight from anywhere from 170 pounds to 135 pounds. And food is one of the most important things when it comes to cutting weight. So at the end of the day, I'm just a foodie. I agree with you. I've been blessed enough to be in this position. But then in return, I want to ask you, what are your qualifications to have this firm stance on this topic? Because to me, this seems like your first time ever seeing me. And if it's not, again, I have another question. Why is this your first time speaking on me? We've been blessed enough to raise over $40,000 for a restaurant owner who has cancer. We've been blessed enough to be used as a vessel to retire a teacher in less than 24 hours. We've been blessed enough to be a part of keeping multiple restaurants doors open. And all of this within the span of 10 months.
I want to be very clear. That question isn't to say you or anybody else should know who I am. I simply ask, if this isn't your first time seeing me, what stopped you from talking about the positive things we've been able to do? Specifically to the community that you are worried about us negatively affecting.
And to your point, that's without any form of qualifications. And let's be honest, I think one of the main reasons of why we're here is because I'm relatable. I'm a customer like everybody else. I pay for my food like everybody else. I don't take anything from these restaurants. No matter how much business comes from any post I make, I don't take any money. If I was to go to school and get all of the qualifications and start talking in big words that not a lot of people understand, would they still come out and wait in 4-hour lines? I don't believe so. I'm a normal person just like you. So again, you are completely entitled to your opinion, and so am I. And my opinion is that you should have done a lot more research before you made this firm stance, especially on a platform like yours. I don't go anywhere and just give my unsolicited opinion. You said I should only get positive reviews. The reason I don't believe that it worked because it'd be inauthentic. And hypothetically, if I was to be inauthentic and you waited in a 3-hour wait time and you got to the front and the food was trash, who you gonna be mad at? The restaurant owner or me? Those 600 people who waited in line, they're gonna all make videos and say I'm a fraud, say I lied. And that 4-hour line only gonna be there that one time because everybody gonna say the food is trash.
Simply just to spite me, not even a restaurant themselves.
But if it's a restaurant where the people really put their time and their effort into, that 4-hour wait time is gonna be 4 hours the next day, and the next day, and the next day.
God willingly, of course.
Again, I'm gonna be very clear. I think you are completely entitled to your opinion, just like I am. 99% of my videos have ended very positively.
Charged my car for $26.73. That's what she said she made when sales today.
Instead of crying, you need to rejoice.
Their total sales was $2,200 for the day.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Y'all, look at the impact of...
I had to pause it right there. I was gonna let it rock, but I had to pause it right there. Do you know how good of a feeling it is to be able to help somebody who you know deserves it? That is such a good feeling, especially when you're doing it because you care and not just because you want to be seen or like, hey y'all, look at what I can do. It's just simply, I can help you, and I'm helping you just because I can, and you deserve it. Like you provided me with a service with love and care and compassion. You deserve to be open. I wish I could pay for every meal for everybody just so they could experience what it is that you provided for me. And I can relate to that kind of sentiment. When I go somewhere and I see it's a small restaurant, they just starting, and they're trying their best to provide a good product, a good service, I'm gonna probably pay double. I'm gonna buy stuff even if I don't need it or don't want it. I'm just gonna buy stuff because I can, because I want to see the business survive. And I would hope that other people would do the same. I don't expect it, but I'm gonna do what I can. And hopefully it would bring a blessing on somebody in a way that might not have been able to be done before. If I can impact somebody's life in a positive way, in just that small, minute way, I feel good about myself. Not so much as I'm a decent human being, but I was able to contribute to somebody's life in a productive, meaningful way. I served a purpose. You know how good that feeling is to somebody with a conscience? Let's proceed.
Look at these cars lined up. Y'all, this area is always in...
Oh, you got these people attention now? Mm-hmm. Talk that talk, George.
So to make the narrative that all I do is tear down businesses is completely false. This is my last time speaking on anything that has to do with Atlanta. I want to get back to the fun, get back to eating, get back to touring, get back to going to good restaurants. I just want to eat food and mind my business like I always have.
In this last week, I've heard a lot of questions like, why him? A bunch of people eat food. Why is him and his family so successful? Why do y'all pay attention to what him and his family say? And to that, I simply ask, why not? God bless.
Now let me pull that up right there. That's what I was talking about earlier. When you ain't raised properly, you think that you can only take advice or criticism from somebody that you respect or admire, and it's totally subjective who you respect, because you can respect somebody that everybody else completely has no respect for, but because you respect them, you're going to listen to what they have to say, and you might actually take what they say with a grain of salt, or with more than that. But just because you don't know someone, their criticism isn't valid, their observations aren't valid because you don't know who they are, that is completely and utterly arrogant. Because if we all treated each other like that, we would be walking around in a world where everybody thinks that they're the, oh wait, we are walking around in that world. Huh. Proceed.
God bless you. Have an amazing day. Y'all be safe.
Hey, bro, that's the nicest way you can pack somebody up. Now, I love Chad Johnson. I understand the place that he coming from. I love the man. But watching his original video, I'm like, damn, man, bless that man hard. I know he coming from a good place, but
nah, that ain't it, y'all.
But y'all know that Keith Lee is a nice dude. He gonna say things as calm and chill as possible. So that's why Farad B is chosen once again to be his anger translator. Check this out right here.
Now, before you get into it, yo, this my boy, Farad. Yo, this dude be having me cracked up. Yo, I sat and I watched, I don't know how many, I watched an entire compilation of this dude pretending to be planets and, I almost cussed. This dude pretending to be planets and whatnot in the solar system. I don't know why he came up with this idea or how he did it. But this dude decided he was gonna be pretending to be planets and moons and stars and suns or whatever, and just giving like commentary as if he was one of the celestial bodies. And I'm sitting here cracking up. I'm like, dude. Yo, so if you ever get the chance, go on Farad's channel and check out some of his content. The same with Stacy, the same with Keith Lee, same with Shay, same with Chad Ochocinco. Go check out the content because there's a lot of good content, a lot of good perspectives, a lot of insight on the community and what we're really out here doing. A lot of us are stuck in a bubble, and we don't know that a lot of us are out here traveling the country, traveling the world, have seen a lot of different things. So when we come back and we give our perspective, we're not giving it from the place of somebody who's just been sitting in a corner for the last 15, 20 years. We're coming from the perspective of people who have traveled to several states, to several countries, have engaged with different nationalities and cultures, and we can clearly see the difference in how we interact with people from other cultures and people from our own culture. And one thing that I have a tendency of, I tend to remind people when we get into these conversations on the internet that familiarity breeds contempt. We become so familiar, excuse me, excuse me, so familiar with one another that we have magnified our flaws and minimized our strengths. So the things that we do good, we're like, yeah, whatever. I can do that too. But when it's something that's a fault or a character flaw of ours, we magnify it. And in some instances, we're conditioned to magnify our flaws and then glorify them. We glorify our flaws and then justify them by saying that's just how we are. It's not just how we are. It's a character flaw that we're supposed to actually work on improving and weeding out of ourselves. Being combative and not concerned with the welfare and well-being of others, but wanting others to be concerned with your own health and well-being, wanting people to be concerned with the health and support and survival of your business, but not being concerned with the well-being and care of your customers. That sounds quite a bit hypocritical, if you ask me. Nobody's perfect, but when these things are pointed out to you, you should take heed to them because these are the people who literally pay your bills. You cannot, you know what would be crazy? If you were to open a restaurant and you basically bought all the food yourself. What's the sense of going into business? You might as well just cook food and eat. If you're going to go into business, the people who come to your restaurant are the lifeblood of your business. So they should be treated with the utmost dignity and respect, because without them, you would not exist at all. So, but before I go further into that, let's go with I was supposed to be talking about Farad, but I wanted to kind of drill that point home, that we really need to have a sense of humility when it comes to engaging with customers if we're going to be in the service and food industry, the restaurant industry. You must have a level of humility, respect, and decency, regardless of who you encounter while you're conducting your business. Now, let's see how Farad translates Keith Lee's very articulate, dignified response. Let's see how a hood dude would basically say what Keith Lee is saying. And I want to bring up something too. How we talk to each other is a indicator of the level of respect we have for one another. So if a person speaks to you very callously and flippant, they don't have a level of respect for you. But if they're choosing their words carefully, they're trying to be respectful and articulate, and they're making their words plain and honest, that means they care about you wanting to understand them and them wanting to understand you. That requires a level of humility and dignity and respect for both yourself and the other person, in order to choose your words wisely enough to try to convey a message with respect. But when you don't,
First, I want to say God bless you, and I respect your opinion. Your opinion is just as valuable as the next person's opinion.
Your opinion don't mean shit. Fuck you and your thoughts. Put me up, bitch.
But I do agree with you. It is hard to open a restaurant. It is hard to get the funding. It is hard to have people come in. I agree. And I'm blessed enough to be a marketing platform for those restaurants, completely free.
But I do agree with you. It is hard to start a Salvation Army, then tax people to come in that bitch. Start a restaurant. It is hard to get business, hard to get people, hard to get promotion. But me and my family have used my platform to help people do that shit for free.
To me, it seems like you have no idea who I am. And again, that's okay with me. The main point was my qualifications. I'll be honest with you, I've been a professional fighter for almost 10 years. I've traveled the world eating food. I've cut weight from anywhere from 170 pounds to 135 pounds. And food is one of the most important things when it comes to cutting weight. So at the end of the day, I'm just a foodie. I agree with you. I've been blessed enough to be in this position.
It seems like you don't know who the fuck I am. I've been a professional MMA fighter for 10 years. I done ate food every fucking way. I done cut weight, built weight, did all that shit. Bitch, I know food and the body.
But then in return, I want to ask you, what are your qualifications to have this firm stance on this topic? Because to me, this seems like your first time ever seeing me.
And in return, I want to ask you, what's your qualifications for feeling so strongly about a motherfucker?
you see how he holding his knuckles? Yeah, look how he holding his knuckles. Oh my God. And he trying his best not to blink like him, but he can't do it. You know how hard that is? Let's proceed.
That you don't even know, other than having a kneecap with a BBL for a fucking head.
And if it's not, again, I have another question. Why is this your first time speaking on me?
And I got another question. If this ain't your first time hearing about me, why the fuck is it your first time speaking on me? Shoulder, head, having ass.
We've been blessed enough to raise over $40,000 for a restaurant owner who has cancer. We've been blessed enough to be used as a vessel to retire a teacher in less than 24 hours. We've been blessed enough to be a part of keeping multiple restaurants doors open. And all of this within the span of 10 months. I want to be very clear. That question isn't to say you or anybody else should know who I am. I simply ask, if this isn't your first time seeing me, what stopped you from talking about the positive things we've been able to do? Specifically to the community that you are worried about us negatively affecting.
In the past 10 months, me and my family have been blessed enough to help hella businesses, get hella people, hella lines, keep their doors open, raise hella fucking money. We didn't even help out some of them fucking slop troughs that you defending so hard that shouldn't even call themselves restaurants or be in fucking business. You worry about me taking business away from them fucking shotgun restaurants? Boy, eat that fucking
Boy. Boy. This boy a fool.
Ham up, cause if this ain't your first time seeing me, why in the fuck this the first time you saying something? And then you mad because I told everybody I went to the fucking Salty Spittoon. Bitch, that's what happened. The fuck? blame the salty spittoon for being that motherfucker.
And to your point, that's without any formal qualifications. And let's be honest, I think one of the main reasons of why we're here is because I'm relatable. I'm a customer like everybody else. I pay for my food like everybody else. I don't take anything from these restaurants. No matter how much business comes from any post I make, I don't take any money.
I'm just a regular man, eating food, telling people what I think about it, helping people out, and taking care of my family. And what you is, bald-headed, drowning on my nuts.
If I was to go to school and get all of the qualifications and start talking in big words that not a lot of people understand, would they still come out and wait in 4-hour lines? I don't believe so. I'm a normal person just like you. So again, you are completely entitled to your opinion, and so am I. And my opinion is that you should have done a lot more research before you made this firm stance.
I'm just a...
Now, I love the fact that he keeps trying to remind people, I am a normal person just like you. A lot of us have this overinflated sense of self where everybody walking around thinks that they're a celebrity. So everybody thinks that they're Chad Ochocinco. Everybody thinks that they're O'Shea. Everybody thinks this, but their lives don't reflect that. They have moments where they take a picture, everybody's kind of looking good, has their best outfit on, has their best lace front, I guess. And dude's got their best chain on, or whatever you want to call it. And everybody takes this picture in this moment where everybody looks like they're $1 billion, but you're one paycheck away from foreclosure. Like, you're literally about to have your car repossessed if you don't work for a week. Get your head out your... Let's proceed.
The regular person, but
shout out
you
MTR.
Entitled to your opinion. I mean, you and your head entitled to your opinion, and so am I. And my opinion is you need to shut the fuck up before you get to speaking about shit you don't know nothing about, or get to talking about people you ain't even met or had the decency to reach out to. You wrinkled dome bastard.
Especially on a platform like yours. I don't go anywhere and just give my unsolicited opinion.
I'm not the one running around this bitch letting sentences, nouns, and adjectives slide out my ass for no reason.
You said I should only get positive reviews. The reason I don't believe that it worked because it'd be inauthentic. And hypothetically, if I was to be inauthentic and you waited in a 3-hour wait time and you got to the front and the food was trash, who you gonna be mad at? The restaurant owner or me? Those 600 people who waited in line, they gonna all make videos and say I'm a fraud, say I lied. And that 4-hour line only gonna be there that one time because everybody gonna say the food is trash.
Simply just as like me, not even a restaurant themselves.
Bitch, what the fuck you thought I was gonna do? Get on here and lie and go to a fucking bougie ass Valero and then tell everybody it was fucking great so 100 people can show up and then make videos and get on my ass, ruin my fucking brand, so now I can't help nobody because I'm a lying piece of shit. Telling...
Whoo, Lord. I had to stop him right there. Black folks don't understand. Your reputation means everything when you're in business. There is no way I'm going to send my people to a business that would reflect poorly on my image. It would look terrible, and a lot of us don't understand how image works, how perception works, how promotion and marketing, how you literally can paint yourself into a box. If you don't know what you're doing, you will literally put yourself in a box that you can't get out of because you didn't have integrity, because you didn't stay the course. Somebody steered you off the course and put you in a box. Now you're stuck in that box. Learn how to move with integrity. And if people around you don't move with integrity, don't deal with them because they'll drag you down.
Motherfuckers, hey, your local sicko is really a goddamn luxury event.
But if it's a restaurant where the people really put their time and their effort into, that 4-hour wait time is gonna be 4 hours the next day, and the next day, and the next day.
God willingly, of course.
But see, if I keep it real, and these people really got good food, and I like the food, and 300 people show up, they're probably gonna like the food, meaning that it's gonna help the business.
Duh! We all know that's what the fuck gonna happen.
So I'm sorry if an ass business get told that they ass, where they shouldn't be fucking ass. Don't like it? Put me up!
Yeah, I'm gonna be very clear. I think you are completely entitled to your opinion, just like I am.
And just to be clear, I don't give a fuck about you or your opinion. I just gotta get on here and get ahead of this fucking narrative that you trying to paint before y'all try to ruin my fucking shit and everything that I done built. Cause I'll go to war with all you bitches.
99% of my videos have ended very positive.
Charge my car for $26.73. That's what she said she made herself for.
If that pride, you need to rejoice.
Their total sales is $2,200 for the bag.
Charge me $24.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Y'all, look at the impact of Keith Lee. Look at these cars lined up. Y'all, this area is always empty.
Oh, you got these people attention now? Mm-hmm. Talk that talk, George.
So to make the narrative that all I do is tear down businesses is completely false.
99% of my videos end positive. So you sitting here saying that I'm tearing businesses down is some fuck shit.
This is my last time speaking on anything that has to do with Atlanta. I want to get back to the fun, get back to eating, get back to touring, get back to going to good restaurants. I just want to eat food and mind my business like I always have. In this last week, I've heard a lot of questions like, why him? A bunch of people eat food. Why is him and his family so successful? Why do y'all pay attention to what him and his family say? And to that, I simply ask, why not? God bless you.
Bitch, how you gonna be mad at me because I told the world?
Now, I had to stop right there. This dude made it very clear that people are so full of themselves that they're like, why him? They don't care that what he's saying is genuine and it's an honest opinion and perspective. It's because it's not somebody that they respect or admire that he shouldn't be saying it. Like, how dare he speak? He's not somebody I admire, I know, I feel is important. Why should he say these things? Now, if it was Michelle Obama that said it, if it was Beyonce that said it, if it was Drake that said it, if it was, who else? All I can think of, for the most part, if it was Usher that said it, if it was LeBron James that said it, if it was James Harden, Gabrielle Union, if these people said it, would it mean more to you? Like if there was some glitter falling behind them and they had on like a red carpet dress and they spun around in the picture first, and then all of a sudden some flashing words came on the screen and they were like, you gotta eat here, and then all of a sudden y'all would like jump up and run over there? Or if they said this place is trash, would you be like, well, Usher said it was trash, I ain't going over there? Like, does Usher have to say it for you to respect it? Or can somebody else's criticism be valid simply they have the experience of eating too? Let's be realistic.
That I came to Atlanta and they was charging 5-star prices for a fucking death row experience.
Motherfucker tell me something. Who is Keith Lee? Who he supposed to be? Why him? Cause God said so, bitch. Don't like it? Kill me. Put me up, goddammit. Fuck you. Want better reviews? Make better food. Keep making that bullshit? I'm coming for you, bitch. God fucks with y'all. I'm out.
God bless you. Have an amazing day. Y'all be safe.
That man funny as hell. Make sure y'all go ahead and check out Farrah B on TikTok. Now, someone hit Chad on Twitter and he said, you need to listen to Keith Lee's response, my boy. He says, I saw it and it was an eloquent display of what qualifies him to do what he does. Thoroughly enjoyed the overall delivery and the constant blessings and exposure he has bestowed on small businesses in such a short amount of time. And he leaving it at that. Hey, there you go. Now, some people, they still on that man head because of this interaction right here. They hit him with the "this you," and this person saying, you slow, my boy. Funk you mean if you have a platform, you shouldn't say anything bad.
Now, I want to pause right there. Now, whoever this person is, this is like, I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes we get to the point where somebody says something that pokes us the wrong way, and we'll say something back that we know will escalate it rather than bring it to a neutral place for a reasonable, decent discussion. Now, Chad Ochocinco is a grown man with his own opinion. Now, he just did call somebody a fuck nigga. He did. Now, I'm cursing on stream, but whatever. Nobody's paying my bills. He basically says, fuck nigga, if you don't like something, go tell the manager about the service, bitch. I said what the fuck I said. I don't agree with talking about people or their businesses. I address them directly and ain't nobody gonna change how I've always been. As black men, we are not taught at a young age to control how we talk to people. This is for, God, I want to go into this, but I'm not going to go into it right now. We're going to have to talk about this later. We're going to talk about it on another stream. But how we talk to each other, I said this earlier, how we speak to each other reflects the level of respect we have for each other. If you speaking to somebody like they a child and they're a grown man, you don't respect them. Think about it this way. Would you speak to the person who signs the bottom of your check the same way? Would you speak to the person who can either say guilty or not guilty the same way and expect the same level of consequence behind those words? If you can't picture yourself talking to a judge, a police officer, a district manager, a CEO, a loan officer, if you can't picture yourself talking to these people in a disrespectful manner, you shouldn't talk to anybody like that. If you have smoke for one person in one way, you should be able to have smoke for anybody who come at you the same way. So if your energy changes depending on who you talking to, and regardless if one or the other both disrespected you, but your energy changed depending on your level of respect for that person, something's wrong with you. Well, let's proceed.
So he's supposed to just lie to the public about his opinion. You can't be in the media and say some ish like that. Chad say, "Funk nigga, if you don't like something, go tell the manager about the service, bitch." I said with the funk I said, I don't agree with talking about people or their business. I addressed them directly, and ain't nobody gonna change how I've always been. Alright, so that was the energy that he was giving dude for calling him slow. So hey, I don't necessarily think that was the energy towards Keith, but Miami dudes sometimes go off the deep end if you go ahead and disrespect them, especially calling them slow or something like that. We're a little sensitive about stuff like that. But in other,
notice what he said. He said Miami dudes get a little sensitive. That's not Miami. I'm not going to say specifically, but I've been around enough places to know that it's a hood thing. It's a hood thing. And if you're not around people who have self-control, structure, discipline, and consequences for bad behavior, that is the level of response that you get from those kind of people. Those are the people who should not be in the service industry because they don't understand structure, order, discipline, respect, decency, couth. These are all traits that come along with professionalism. These things have to be instilled in you, or you have to be trained in these things, and then you practice these things until they become second nature to you. If you don't practice these things, just like a muscle, if you don't work out your muscles, they get smaller. The same thing with your social skills. If you don't practice interacting with people on a decent level, and you're not used to communicating with people and having a dialogue, a respectful dialogue, even if it's passionate, it can still be respectful and not get out of hand. You can have a passionate discussion without it getting out of bounds. But if you have no structure, no self-control, no self-discipline, and you don't understand consequences for actions, you'll start to become more and more of a boundary pusher. You'll start to push boundaries to see how far you can get, rather than saying, well, let me not cross certain boundaries because there may be consequences for crossing these boundaries. They don't look that far because they're not concerned with the boundaries being crossed. They're concerned with protecting their own ego, feelings, and emotions. Which, in business, fuck your emotions. Let's proceed.
Other news, man, this is crazy. Maybe this is what Chad talking about, but this could have been avoided. Someone passed by the Real Milk and Honey when they were open, and it looked like a ghost town. Check this out right here.
I'm gonna explain the power of social media and making sure that you treat people the right way. Walking past the Real Milk and Honey, as you can see.
I wasn't supposed to pause it this much, but I had to just bring that up. The power of social media and treating people the right way. If you treat people with decency, dignity, and respect, and you have a social media presence, you can increase your business 1,000-fold. But if you have poor customer service, you lose what is called loyal customer base. You may have a satisfied customer. I'm giving you some sales game right now. There are two types of customers. You have your loyal customers, then you have your satisfied customers. Keith Lee is a loyal customer. He's not a satisfied customer. Keith Lee is a loyal customer. If he honors you, if he's loyal to you, he will give you more than what you're giving him. That's a loyal customer. He'll give you something even if he doesn't need anything in return. That is a loyal customer. Satisfied customers only show up when you have something to offer them. There's a big difference between loyal customers and satisfied customers. You treat both with dignity and respect, but your loyal customers get all of the love. You go out of your way for loyal customers because they will go out of their way for you.
There's nobody out here since Keith Lee came by and reviewed the restaurant over here. You know what I mean? They're a little light right now. There's some folks in there, but they're not as busy as they normally would be, and the patio is empty. Got to get that service together. And right now, as we walk up the block and walk up to the corner, we get here to the bodega. And as you can see, the bodega is jumping like we in New York. Look at all these people that are in here. These are people that you haven't seen, and we even have this thing up here. So shout out to Keith Lee coming to the ATL. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Yo, that's crazy. Right there, dead in your face. The juxtaposition between good service and bad service. Oh my God. Damn, the Real Milk and Honey, you shouldn't have been talking.
Now, for anybody who's a business owner, if you don't take anything away from this stream, if you're asking questions as to why am I not getting the business that I think I'm supposed to be getting, check your customer service. Let's proceed.
Talking shit. It is what it is. In the other video, we went over their apology low key, but hey man, it's gonna take some time to restore that. I've seen people in comment sections saying things like, oh, it's just social media. Who really cares in real life about what Keith Lee gotta say? What you gotta understand is this is a whole new world. Social media is a huge form of advertisement. TikTok is a huge form of advertisement. You gotta think about yourself and how you find recommendations for new businesses. Many people find out about these restaurants through social media. You can go and do the research on your own, but TikTok has become the most powerful search engine for Gen Z. That's even compared to Google, man. So rather than searching for Yelp, rather than searching on Google, people go to TikTok to get reviews for food from people where they can see the foods, they can hear about the customer service experience, they can see the little videos, the ambiance and everything. TikTok is taking over, and if you are a business owner and you aren't thinking about how to grow your platform or having some type of digital real estate on TikTok, you're tripping. So it has an effect. It does have an effect on you. Whether that's negative or whether that's positive, that's all on you. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here though. This is another update with Stace. Yo. Don't.
Y'all see it? You see it. Shout out to Tony Baker. So that's I'm Stacy giving his perspective on the whole Keith Lee debacle with on Shay with Ocho Cinco. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I really want to know how y'all feel about our businesses and our customer service, our service industry skills, and what was your best experience with us in our establishments, and what was your worst experience? I want to know. Before I get up out of here, I do want to give a bit of a perspective on what I've experienced in some of the restaurants. I have been to just about every restaurant around here. I've been to plenty of restaurants around the country. The only place I haven't been to in the country is the Midwest. I've been to Central America. I've been to the Caribbean. Haven't been over to Europe or to the Middle East or Africa or Asia yet. Lord willing, it will be coming. But in my experience, the vast majority of the restaurants that I've dealt with had terrible, terrible customer service. You were not allowed to question, what was going into the food. If you asked questions with a critical concern about your own safety and health, they kind of looked at you like, what's wrong with you? It was a sense of, I don't feel like being bothered with you, rather than I'm here to help you. I'm glad to help you. I would really like to have your business. I've had good experiences as well, but as far as speaking on the negative ones at this time, I've had some pretty negative experiences in our businesses, in our establishments. I've worked in some of our establishments, and I can tell you that we have had some terrible business practices. Oh my God. I'm not going to go into details. I love my people to death. I want us to do better. We can do better. Oh my God. It's just, when you have minimal expectations of yourself and your community, you will cut corners that you should not. But when you think eyes are on you, you move differently. And that's something that we tend to overlook when we get to the point where we think we're established. We've opened our own doors. We've bought a property, or we've purchased or rented or leased a property. We've got some equipment. We got people cooking and all this other stuff. But you have not projected 5 to 10 years out what's going to happen. And in the middle of all that, you did not do your research on your market. You did not study your market well enough to know what you could really do. So there are certain things that if you pay close attention to your customers, they'll tell you. They speak with their dollars. That's how people talk. They talk to a business with their money. But you have to provide the options that they want. Sometimes, if you know what you're doing in the sales industry, you create a demand for something. In order to do that requires understanding your market, understanding promotion and advertising. You have to understand these things, and you have to understand that they cost money in order for you to promote your business. Best promotion is word of mouth, but in today's society, the social media monster is one of the fastest ways to secure your bottom line on a consistent basis, because that's what connects a lot of people nowadays, is their connection on social media. And to be able to take your connection in social media and make that lateral move over to real life is hugely beneficial when you know what you're doing. But if you've never experienced that, if you've never taken that road, you don't know what it looks like. So if somebody walks up to you and says, hey, you should put your stuff on a social media platform for people to see, and you don't know that that would actually increase your business, you'll be reluctant to do it. So a lot of people have solutions in front of them. A lot of our businesses have the ability to increase their bottom line and to be more productive, but they're not aware of the steps that they need to take. That's part of the reason why I created this podcast. I really wanted to bring attention to these things. So let me switch this over here. Bring it out. Lego. So that's why the Vibez Lounge podcast exists. So we can connect the everyday working class with the entrepreneur, with the business owner, with the city official. Everybody has a hub where they can kind of engage with each other and get a temperature of where each other is at, so we can start to create a bigger conversation about how to improve the overall quality of our community, our environment. And I'm kind of hell-bent on doing that. So whoever's with me is with me. Whoever's against me, I'm not even thinking about you. You're not even relevant to me. I follow, shout out to Media Man on this one, the 30-30-40 rule. Out of 100 people, 30 will be for you, 30 will be against you, and 40 will be on the fence. The 30 who rock with me, you rock with me. Salute to y'all, I love you to death. For those who don't rock with me, not even a factor to me. But for the 40 who are on the fence, that's who I'm here for. I'm here to present a point of view or perspective that hopefully you can learn from. You can find valuable information in the content that I'm providing to you. If so, make sure to show your love and support. You like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends to get engaged. Get out, get downtown, support the local businesses. If you want these things, you have to support them. If you want people to represent you, you should support the people you want to represent you. So if you have places that you want to go downtown, you should support those places. If you want people to cook the food that you like, you might want to support those businesses. But don't complain about you don't have something when you don't put your money, your blood, your sweat, your tears, your effort behind what it is that you want to see change. In the meantime, I won't dig too deep into that. But before I go, shouts out to everybody who has shown love, support, and encouragement to the podcast. Shout out to #1 producer, audio engineer, community activist, all around everyday guy, your host, the First Magnum. And this has been the Vibez Lounge podcast. Don't forget, I have other social media. I'm on Twitch, Discord, Patreon. You can also show your love and support over there by joining my Patreon. I will be having that up and running very shortly. Also, you can go to my merch shop. The link is in my my channel description. And if you do grab anything from the store, from the merch shop, hey, y'all take a picture of it, post it, send me an email of any merch that you get that you rocking, so I can put it up on the intro, because I want to build an intro with all of my supporters, because this is not about me. This is really about us. But with that being said, thank y'all for showing up, showing out. This has been the Vibez Knowledge Podcast, and I have been your host, Magnum.